You know what? I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into this. Hi, I'm Ruckus IIV. Welcome to the show. This is GazzyB. Go ahead and, you know what? We're going to go ahead and have everybody jump on the mic as soon as I call you out, so that way everybody who would be listening but not watching can tell who's who and what's what.
Hello, this is GazzyB.
That's GazzyB. This is Jessica.
Hey.
This is Poetic Princess.
Hello.
This is Candace.
How everybody doing?
And this is Jeh Sinatra.
Yo, yo, yo.
So, this is yo, yo, yo. I love
guy.
it. Nothing but all the flavor was right there. If you guys are looking for the flavor, go right here.
This guy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna set a timer for 15 minutes, and we're gonna have two topics. And the first topic, we're gonna start with GazzyB. And what he's going to do is he's going to have his topic. We all don't, well, I guess in this case we kind of know the topic, right? Do we know this topic?
I don't.
No, we don't know. Okay, so
we don't know.
The idea is we don't know the topic, and they're going to shout out their topic, start talking about it, and we're going to engage from there, and then we'll go to the next topic. So GazzyB, I'm going to start the timer right now, and go.
All right, so my question I want to bring to the table today is nowadays, speaking primarily with Hollywood, you notice that they're doing a lot more remakes of movies and reboots of movies. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a lack of creativity in that sense? Because now you have, like, there are just certain movies that should not be touched and be redone. So now they have a Scarface movie they're redoing this year.
What?
Yeah. They're redoing.
Did not know about that.
They're going to be redoing Death Wish actually just came out, I think. Didn't that with Bruce Willis?
Yes.
Yes, that was a remake of an old movie. Bet you didn't know that.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure that Jessica's heard when you guys jump back and forth. That's all.
Oh, okay. So right now I think there's, in Hollywood, there's just so many remakes and reboots instead of coming up with something original. Uh-huh. And there are movies that they should not be touching that they're redoing that I just totally disagree with. Yeah. There are even rumors about doing a remake of Godfather. Like, they're just classics. There's just those certain things you just can't touch. Yeah. And I feel like...
You feel like it's sacred. Is that what you're
sacred,
saying?
yeah.
It's a sacred thing.
There's just some things you shouldn't touch and trying to make over. And I feel like, where does it stem from? Is it just a lack of creativity where people are not able to create new ideas and new, what do you guys think?
Okay, I'll jump on that really quick. Okay, the first thing that comes to mind, the first thing that I think of is money. The reason being is you can crunch these things out like a cookie cutter situation. It's a factory. And from what I understand, from what I've heard, the film industry and all these other, right now the market is us. Mm-hmm. We exist because we grew up with all the toys and all the stuff that came out in the 80s and everything that primarily kind of sucked or was good or was amazing or whatever. They want to rehash it out because they know that even though we have a problem with everything that you're kind of going with, the fact that we might have a problem with it, we'll still pay the ticket.
True.
Mm-hmm. That's money. So that would be my answer to that, because they're able to continue to do that until our generation is, moving on to the next one. So of course, I don't know how the business would work later on, but that's pretty much the gist of what I think about it.
And don't get me wrong, there are some of them that have actually worked out really well. Like when they did the 22 Jump Street.
That was
really good.
good.
But then you have others that kind of just flop. Like, to me, Ghostbusters I thought was horrible.
So let me ask you this: how did you feel about Jumanji? Did you care for that?
We
so
actually
much?
just watched
Jumanji.
that. Now, I'm gonna be very.
True.
Now, when I say when my next sentence is probably gonna kind of scare you guys. I've never seen the original one.
Oh my god!
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta get on that, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched, when it comes on, I'll watch 5 minutes here and there, but I've never actually sat through and watched the whole movie. Oh, man, we did watch the remake, or it's not really a remake. I guess it's a continuation.
It was
a reboot.
kind of a continuation
like a reboot
of the first one.
Right.
Really? I thought it was a complete remake.
No, because they referenced the first one in this movie.
They referenced it,
yeah,
but it wasn't the exact same story.
Right.
Okay.
And what you're talking about is exactly why I did not want to go to the movies to see that, because to me Jumanji was like my childhood.
Yeah.
And then for them to have to make it.
No, you're good. Just get closer to the mic.
It really bothered me, but then I did go, and it was hilarious. I laughed the entire time.
But some of the remakes that they do come out better. If you look at Scarface, that's actually a remake of the original with Warren G. what is his name? Warren G. Harding.
Right, but now the one
But
that
the
Al
second
Pacino
one,
did was
yeah.
the one that's like the
That's the one that everybody
classic.
knows.
So now
but if they didn't remake the first one, we wouldn't have had the Scarface with Al Pacino. If they do it again, it's kind of crazy though.
Right, because at that point when Al Pacino did it the second time,
It was
a
better than the
staple
first.
in history where it was
Yeah.
like, because nobody remembers the first one. I didn't even really know
I'm
about
sure
the first one.
older people do. Or people that are like classic movie buffs, they'll probably remember it.
But just to like touch on what you guys were saying about the whole situation with Jumanji, I think a lot of them are doing the remakes now because they feel like the technology is better, the graphics are better, so they can make the movie better than it was back then. And then, like, even referring back to the Jumanji thing, a lot of those movies, you didn't get that closure, so they're referencing back to it, and now you're kind of seeing the remake of, okay, what would have happened, or this is where they would have been 20 years later, like how they do with the cartoons,
Yeah.
all grown up, stuff like that. And even with some of those, that was kind of like a flop. But
That I
Like the
get.
I
television
totally
shows.
agree with that.
I agree
And
with
you know
that.
what? And I'm
growing
glad.
up with us.
I'm totally
Exactly.
glad you said that because that would have to tie into what I was saying too. So that's actually the plus side. That's a more positive outlook as to what they're doing, and what I'm saying is more the negative side. But I think they're both happening at the same time. But I think exactly what you're saying is they also grew up with us at the same time, trying like, oh, we could make this better. Basically, they're like, oh, we could totally make this better. We have the technology, like you said, and we should totally, put the CGI in this kind of a scene. Let's make this happen. You're right. That's a good point.
Don't
I agree
you
with
think?
that.
And I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I think that makes perfect sense. But at the same time, there are certain movies that I think, let's say, for example, let's just take The Godfather hypothetically.
Okay.
The storytelling, the playwright in that movie, the writing, you can't remake something like that. You can't replay a Marlon Brando. You can't do that over.
You can't redo the performance.
You can't.
Right.
And I think that some things should be held sacred, is what I'm saying. There should be some, there's a reason why a lot of these movies are in our archives in the library that they have. Like, what's the library that they have there where they store a lot of these old classic movies?
I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
archive thing. I know.
yeah. But I feel like there's just some...
Library of Congress or something.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's
I know what you're talking
there's
about.
just some that should just be held sacred and should not be touched. That's
Well,
just
okay.
what I think. Like,
What do you think about television shows that get remade?
now I'll be
There's
lying
a
if
lot
I
of those coming.
right, and I'll be lying if I say I don't watch them because when
Yeah,
they
because I was just watching Fuller House the other day. So.
but that's more of an extension. That's not really a remake, right?
Yeah, well,
It
that's
is-
what.
I
That's
see
what
it's-
Ruckus
it's-
IIV
to me,
Yeah,
it's
it's
Candace
different.
is saying.
Now they've grown up with us. Like,
Right.
you can't be,
And
that
Girl
age
Meets
forever.
World.
right. See, it's different to me when you're the difference though is that they're using the same cast,
People.
same people. I'm talking about if you actually now if they were to take like say like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which they were saying that they're going to be doing over again, and in that case it's going to be a totally different cast.
Yeah,
it has
you
no
can't-
relation to the original one whatsoever.
You know what I think it is, honestly, just to chime in. I think it's more so they saw the success that a lot of those like television shows and those movies had during that era. Like, believe it or not, the 90s is a nostalgic era for a lot of people, like especially our age where we grew up on a lot of that stuff, like cartoons, TV, all that stuff. So for them, it's like, okay, how do we capitalize on not only making money and making a beneficial thing monetarily wise, but how do we bring back something that people just genuinely love? And a lot of people genuinely love the stuff from the 90s. Like, for example, Martin, that's a classic
Yeah.
show for anybody
Yeah, of
who's
course.
watched it, like, and grew up on it. They're talking about bringing it back. It's kind of like I feel a type of way because I'm like, you can't bring that back. For one, Tommy's not even available no more. Like so it's like, yeah,
Did he die?
he passed away. Yeah, he passed away like months
was
ago.
I don't
was like
remember
last
that.
year.
What?
Last year?
Yeah.
Oh my
It's been
gosh.
a while. It's been a while since
Yeah.
he passed away. So how do you remake something like that, or how do you bring that back? It's not even necessarily a remake because it's the same characters, but how do you bring that back and you're missing a key component? Tommy is his best friend. How can you remake that or bring that back when he's not here?
Yeah, the same thing with Fresh Prince. Uncle Phil's gone, so that's
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 huge
true.
character. So
Yeah.
like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
the
not
same.
the
You
same.
could never get that one back.
But you think about it too, they're trying to, like I said, capitalize off the 90s because
Yeah.
let's face it, we had the best toys, we had the best cartoons, we had the best music, we had the best everything. You see
Not
a
up
lot
for
of these
debate.
Old groups, these older groups from the 90s coming back and they're doing tours and they're selling out because people still want to hear that. Like me personally, he'll tell you, I don't listen to a lot of the new stuff on the radio. I'm still listening to stuff that I was listening to in middle school and high school, like on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, okay. So so you're asking where does the line draw?
Yes,
As far as when can you go ahead and remake something, and when shouldn't you?
Right.
And I think that no matter how we look at that, that is extremely subjective. I think that every individual person is going to feel differently about it, because you're going to get somebody who's going to be super excited about a Godfather remake, and you're going to get somebody else who's going to want to punch them in the face. You know what I
I'm
mean?
going to be the person that wants to punch him in the face.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to be that guy. Me personally, I have to agree on both sides of that spectrum. I think it just depends on what it is, because that's like saying, okay, for every movie that sucked, right? Let's remake that. And for every movie that was amazing, let's remake that, which is what they're doing, right? So where the fact that there's a line that we could even draw for that, I think,
And
I don't know. Like, I don't know if we could do that.
I guess if there's a silver lining in this whole scenario, though, is that because there are so many of these movies that are being remade, when you do have that one movie that comes out that's original, like for me, Baby Driver last year, I talked about it last time.
was
That
amazing.
movie
I still haven't seen that yet.
Have you guys seen it?
You haven't seen
Either?
it? Okay.
If you like music,
I didn't like the name.
Look, when I first heard about it, the name kind of threw me off too. But when you
Yeah.
watch it, the movie was amazing. It was so different, and that's I think
it was
that I
so
think when you
different.
have those flashes of movies that come out that like are original and have like a lot of creativity put into it, it makes it more special. When you given the landscape of everything or else that's coming out.
So how would you feel about them trying to do like a respin on like a Kill Bill or something? Because that's
One
a
of those
cult.
movies you can't touch.
Yeah, that's
the
another
cult
one of
classics. Are
yeah.
stuff, like let's say for example, suppose
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. You can't do
can't
that
do the
over.
Breakfast
You know they're gonna try. You know they're gonna try.
They're supposed to be remake the Goonies.
Oh yeah.
Ah, no.
Yeah.
You see, there's some passion. See, now she chimed in.
Yeah, they're supposed to be bringing back the Goonies. They're supposed to
quiet
be
the whole
a
time.
remake of that.
She's gonna grab that microphone and tell you right now. Stare at the camera and tell her. Just public announcement.
They can't.
Do not
That's
touch the
just one.
Goonies.
You can't. Cult classics like that. You can't decide you're going to try and do those over.
They're
again.
gonna do it too.
Honestly, it's really upsetting and annoying to me that they can't figure out new things to come up with, new ideas, new things to create,
You got the mic.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between.
I know. It's okay. It's okay.
I feel like I'm looking at the wall if I'm
It's-
talking
it's
over
okay.
here.
You don't have to necessarily look at us for it. So it's fine.
Yeah, it's just I understand where you're coming from
Yeah.
fully.
Well, we got 3 minutes and 39 seconds. You want to skip to the next topic?
Yeah, I mean, Ken, I think this goes.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Robert's,
So this
okay,
could
so-
be into Robert's topic.
Yo. But nah, real talk.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start with the next topic. Robert, you got your topic. and
Absolutely.
We're gonna start the timer now at 15 minutes, and
And we're
Go.
go. All right. So next topic. I don't know if everyone's heard this or not, or has been in tune with what's going on with music to this extent. But we recently had someone attempt a remake of a classic, iconic record by a band by the name of Earth, Wind and Fire. Don't know if everyone's familiar with them. If not, then definitely go back and revisit their discography and their catalog. The name of the song is September. And yeah, it's a very, very classic song. A lot of times you hear it at like a barbecue or a cookout or, just a family function or something like that.
I like how you broke that down to like, I picture chicken wings and like I got some corn now and
Because I remember
Smell
growing up
everything.
hearing this so many times, and oftentimes it'll be at like a family function or be at like a family reunion or a cookout or something. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like one of those songs that set the tone for that. So
now I have to play it at every
Yes.
single
Yes.
cookout from here on out.
We could play it right now after this podcast.
thank you. You feel me? Exactly. See?
Every single barbecue you have to.
I've ever been to, it's always been there.
Everyone,
Yeah.
everyone. So it's just like an automatic thing. But I don't know if everyone's actually up to date with what's going on. We had a artist by the name of Taylor Swift. I know everyone pretty much knows who that is by this time. She remade the song September. My personal opinion on it, she should never did it. The reason why it's just lacking to me personally that soul, and that particular essence of what was captured in that record. I don't know how everybody else feels about it. You guys can definitely chime in and kind of give your thoughts and your opinions on it.
Well, and that's why I think it transitions really well to what I was saying earlier. There's just certain things I feel that should not be touched. That's one of those instances where it's like it's a classic. You can't remake something like that.
Yeah.
And especially with a song like that, don't get me wrong. I think Taylor Swift is talented in her own lane, but that's not her lane.
That was something that she shouldn't have touched.
That's not something that she can do. She can't do that. There's no way that she can sing something like that. I'm sorry. It's just, that's like, I'm gonna let somebody else up before I say something I might regret.
No, it's cool.
No, I mean, it's just that, I feel like, I don't want to get too much into it, but I think that there's just certain things that, certain artists shouldn't be touching. Like, that's one of those things where she can kind of get away with it, but,
she should have just left it alone.
she should have left it alone.
I think there's going to be people that hear this album that, she put out and not know the original, and they might like it. And
especially people that are the younger generation that are really into her right now. The
That's
AKA
true.
Swifties.
yeah, they're not going to
They're
know.
not, they're not going to know
Wait, they
that
got a
original
name?
song.
They got a name?
Everybody has a name. Everybody has a name.
Oh yeah, they're Swifties. But my thing is like,
Believers.
like you guys are extremely upset about this, and I'm just like, okay.
Like, let it go, guys.
I know
it's
it's
just
like,
gonna happen.
okay, you don't like the song, don't listen to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's yeah.
But I understand your passion for it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's kind of like what
Because
they
it's
were
something that we
saying
can
earlier.
relate to. So because it's something that we know we can relate to, as far as like that song that's something we all grew up with. So it's like when you hear someone else sing it.
Yeah,
and
it's
not
kind of
even
like if somebody did the Goonies over. You're like,
Right,
what the
it's
F
like on
is
that
this?
level.
Like,
That's exactly
are you
like
The first
serious?
question is why. Yeah, the first question is going to be why did you
Like,
do
why
this?
did you do this?
Why?
You're right, and
You
it's
know?
gonna be the WTF moment. But I'm not gonna stomp across the floor and throw my
Yeah,
you know,
you
I mean,
know,
but
kick
no
my
one's doing
shoes
that
across
though.
the
No one's
room.
definitely not
Yeah.
doing that. It's just a matter of like we grew up on this, so it's
Yeah.
like we know this
It's like-
one version and
Honestly,
this one
I
version
didn't.
only.
I grew up with a lot of
So-
rap. So as far as like,
Yeah, and it varies from person to person. We're not trying
Yeah.
to say like because we grew up on it, then everyone else had to grow up on it.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
matter of for the people who did grow up on it. It's like we know this version only. So
Yeah.
why are we getting this from you?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like like it's sacred.
You took it
Leave
personally.
It alone. Yeah,
Yeah,
he took it personally.
It's
He took it
sacred.
real
Leave
personal.
It alone. Like that's just what
You're
it is.
you're upset at Taylor Swift right now.
Oh no, I have no
Not Taylor
personal
Swift.
vendetta
Okay.
or no
Because
beef
somebody,
with her.
somebody in her camp thought this was a good idea.
So if
Yeah.
you could personify that song she made, you'd be mad at that.
Yeah.
Because
I would
truth
say
be
so.
so, there's a couple of songs that I like. I rather enjoy from Taylor Swift. I have nothing
Well, no,
against
not
her.
her, like her other stuff. I'm saying just right
Just-
now, you're
Just
like
that
you would look at Taylor
particular
right now and
song.
say, "Really, Taylor?
Yeah,
why?
I absolutely
Why did
would.
you do that?"
I would ask her like,
Okay.
what made you decide to remake this particular song out
Like,
of
we're gonna
every
sit Taylor
song
down
that
right now.
exists in the world?
Who told you that was
Who
okay?
told you that was the one? Yeah, thank
That's
you,
the
guys.
question.
Who told you that
Who gave
was the
okay
one?
for that to clear?
Who
cleared
gave
that?
you the green
Was
light?
it you in the back
me talk
corner?
to that
Did you
person.
do it? Did you give her the okay?
who signed off on this?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because, like you guys said, like that's just a staple. If you're having a cookout, it's a family reunion. You playing that song, or you Frankie? What's the other one? Frankie Beverly and Maze. Before I let go, like you gotta play those songs.
Yes.
It's not official till you
You're
play
gonna
those songs.
hear it. You're gonna
But
hear
if you
it.
think about it too, like in all these years, nobody else has touched that song because they know, like, don't touch it. Just leave it be. Just leave it as it is, and just walk away.
But then there are some songs that people do remake now that I like better than the originals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
there
agree
are
with that,
some
yeah.
that are better.
But that's not one of them.
Obviously.
Not up for debate.
Okay.
Not up for debate.
That one was not okay. That's all we had to say. It was not okay.
So,
Like, we
okay.
weren't
are
okay
you saying
with
we're
it.
throwing away the whole song? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Are we throwing away
see,
the whole song?
I'm not gonna listen to it personally. Like I love Taylor Swift too.
Yeah,
like
no,
I
Taylor
love
Swift's
Taylor
good.
Swift.
yeah,
Like I do. I don't know why. It's just she's
because
my,
she's
why
good.
either.
She's
I love
extremely
it.
talented.
Yeah,
she's
I love
she's
it.
A very
like
good,
I bought her
she's-
last album. I was into it, but this is not it.
Yeah.
Like this is not part of.
So you just
What
don't
I
listen
want.
to it.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I think what it
the-
boils down to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, just get close to the mic.
Yeah, I think what it boils down to is now that you hear it, the way she remade it, it's not so much that she remade it, probably
Yes.
the way she remade it. You don't get the same feeling from the song anymore. You know, when you get that song, you
Exactly.
know exactly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's
So that
the
I think it's the
feeling. I
feeling.
think-
It's a completely different
Yeah.
feeling for that song now.
Yeah, she sucked
Like-
the feeling out of it.
Yeah, well,
That's a good way of putting
that's
it.
a perfect example.
perfect way of putting
no,
it,
no,
because-
that's a perfect example because, for example, the original song had more of a disco feel. This had like a very
Felt
country,
like
twangy.
funky and
Yeah, it was
Very
funky. It was
you know,
disco
very
like when it was at its prime, for that style.
Exactly.
This
Thank
was
you,
more
Chad.
like, let's go ahead and tone this down about, I don't know, as low as we can possibly go. And let's
Let's
just
put it in a minor key.
let's
I'm
let's,
gonna
let's throw
say this.
banjo in there.
It sounded very watered down. I'm just gonna throw that in there,
Yeah.
like, very watered down from the original.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the energy that the
It
original
kinda-
song had.
It kind of
That
reminded
feel-good
me.
feel.
And if you listen
Or sound, excuse
I'm sorry,
me.
go ahead.
Did you guys watch Dreamgirls?
No.
I think so.
Did
I
you
think
see
we
it?
No, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not gonna make sense if you guys haven't seen
But the
it.
thing is, if you listen to the words of that song, the way she's singing it doesn't really correlate with the purpose of this, what they're singing. Like if you listen to what they're saying, it's supposed to be a joyous song to kind of,
Yeah.
you
It
know,
It feels sad.
It feels, as I said, she's like
feels
playing the whole
sad.
song in a minor key. It's like she just took it and just flipped it in a minor. She just put it in a different key altogether.
Well, I just picture her like she heard Earth, Wind and Fire, like she heard the song. And what's the name of the song again? The
September.
right? So she listens to September, and then she starts crying. And then she's like, "I'm gonna do my own version of this
Like she
song."
must have had a
She,
really bad month.
yeah. She picked up a guitar and
not
just
her
started
favorite
crying,
month
singing
at
the
all.
whole song.
I could see that.
Because I mean,
Oh,
you
man.
have to think about that. Like, had she kept maybe even not so much the tempo, but the feeling of that song, most people wouldn't be as upset about it. Probably, I would think. Like,
I
if the
think I would
feeling was
still
still
be
there,
upset.
Yeah,
I know
it
what
was.
you
It
mean.
was
I think
the
it'd be like,
feeling.
okay, Taylor, I see you. You're doing something a
Yeah.
little different. But I
Yeah.
think because it like completely changes the mood that you feel when you hear that song, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how about this? Dear Taylor, if you were to ever come across this podcast, we love you. We think that you're fantastic. We love your...
Hey, I love Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I mean, look, she's talented in what she does. I'm not crazy about her. I personally don't really see the big deal about her.
Well, here's my thing. I think what I like about her the most is the hard work she put in to
She
get
does
where
put in a
she's
lot of
at.
work, yes.
Like where she's at, that
She
is
has
not
great work
easy to
ethic.
do.
I'm
so
not gonna
like,
take that away from her.
Yeah, and so that's me. That's where I'm at. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I love every single Taylor Swift song, but
Yeah, no, you can't love everything of anybody
no.
anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, but I appreciate a lot of what she did with this song. I'm kind of like, I think we're all on the same page. What happened?
It's like the
Yeah.
Kanye.
What-
It's like the
what-
Kanye shrug. It's like
It's literally like the reaction that America had when Kanye pulled the stunt that he did on her. Like when he just walked on and started. It was like that. Why are you doing this?
Hey,
Yeah,
you know what?
like-
We've got 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Let's go ahead and continue on that real quick. We're gonna go kind of on a throwback topic when
Yeah.
Kanye West got on stage during what was the awards?
That was the
It was the
VMAs.
VMAs.
That was the
VMAs. I
VMAs,
can't
and
tell
he
you what
said
year.
that
He said Beyonce had the better
best.
video.
Yeah, she was the best singer of all time, or the best artist.
Yeah, she had the best,
Best
video.
record or
She had the
something,
best
right?
video.
Video,
Yeah.
no, she had, I think the best record or best video of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she deserves to win this. Not saying that Taylor Swift is not talented, but he just
Right.
felt like Beyonce should win it.
Right, and he
He
and-
said what I think other people would think. I was thinking the same thing.
Actually,
Yeah.
before it's really kind of true. Before that, I really didn't know who Taylor Swift was,
Until
and then
Kanye-
she was out there everywhere because he was she was everywhere. Everybody was like, "This is a really effed up thing for him to do," and he was on every news station.
He straight up stole her thunder.
He did. He
Yeah.
did.
Like,
yeah.
rude.
And
So-
she was young too. Like, who does that to
Oh,
somebody?
yeah, and
like,
she just stood there like, what?
yeah.
Well, and that's what I want to ask. How did everybody really feel about that, though? Like the
I was
whole
shocked.
act of it. How did you really? No matter what side you were on that argument, how did you feel about the way he went about it?
I felt he went about it rude. I thought it was funny at first, but it was kind of messed up because, like you said, she was young. This was her first award she's getting.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of put her in an awkward position.
Yeah.
But it was. I laughed. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was funny because Kanye is Kanye.
No.
He
Why
speaks
did
his
you
mind.
find that funny? That's what I'm curious about.
Because of the character, the kind of character that Kanye is.
Yeah.
That's not something that I would put past him. That's something that he would
So
do.
you were laughing because of the spectacle that he created.
Yes.
Is that what it was? And
Yeah.
because it's Kanye, and you're laughing more at like Kanye being Kanye.
Being Kanye.
Okay, so but
Yeah.
you weren't laughing at her.
No, I wasn't laughing at her
Okay,
because
but
I
that-
thought
well-
it was messed up what he did. Like,
That's
you
why
know.
I'm asking, because I wanted to break that down for anybody
Right,
else
right.
listening that they didn't get it crossed that you're laughing at at her expense.
I'm
You
not
know what I
laughing
mean?
at her expense. I'm laughing at Kanye being Kanye.
Yeah.
That's the Kanye we've always known, where he just speaks whatever is on his mind. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, that's Kanye. I mean, that's just what he does. That's just what he does.
I actually didn't think about it until Beyonce came up on stage and let her give her acceptance speech during her award. And I was like, oh, that was really nice for Beyonce to do. And it was really effed up what he did.
Yeah.
But like when he did it, I was like, oh, that's kind of different. You know, I didn't think about it, like the fact that she was winning this award and he took that away from her until Beyonce was like, hey, like you can have my time.
I will say,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's putting on some kind of act, you know, being quote unquote Kanye, if he really is like that in person, but his public persona, I have zero respect for.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's fair. I mean,
He is a musical genius, though. I just want to
I
throw
don't
that
know.
in. I just want to throw that
No,
in. He is a
I
musical
co-sign
genius.
that.
Yes. I get it. You know, he has his moments to be quote unquote butthole. I don't know if we can curse on here now. But yeah, he's a musical genius, and that's just.
And see, I
it can't
totally
be lived
disagree.
Down. Seriously? Really?
yeah, and not everybody
Not a
feels the
big
same
fan of
way about
Kanye.
Kanye. There's a
I,
split.
was
yeah, I
lo-
mean,
I was
there's
in
a-
love with College Dropout.
Hey.
I could listen to it over and over
I
and
think
over.
most people don't
I-
like Kanye because of his antics.
Okay,
Yeah,
me
it's his
personally, I like.
personality.
Yeah.
But if you get past his
But
personality, you
musically-
really dive into his music, you'll be like, okay,
This
yeah,
guy is a
this
genius.
guy is a
Like-
genius. Like,
No, he's
seriously.
extremely
Like,
talented.
He's gifted. For
I'll
what
give
he
him-
does.
I'll
very
give him-
gifted.
I'll give him he's talented, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's a genius.
But side note, he is back on Twitter.
And he's following him,
Side note, he's
obviously.
back.
Dear Kanye, hire him. He is your front running backup
Yes,
right here.
I support you.
Yes.
2020, running for president. I got you, Kanye.
I will say I love Kanye's old stuff. Like I loved his
yeah.
old like that was like man and then
We missed the old Kanye.
some of the stuff that he kind of gradually
Not
got
the new Kanye.
into, I was still kind of into it, but then I was just like, after a while, like when I saw the way he was behaving, it was a turnoff for me. And some people say, well, you know what, you can't have the person affect the art. And I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. If that person's acting like a douchebag, that ruins the art for me.
Okay, but what about, not to cut you off, Chad, but what about all the other artists that do outrageous, zany things?
They're on the same list.
And
Anybody
they,
who
but they don't get the public scrutiny that this guy does, though.
Oh,
that's
no,
how
I don't
feel
agree. I
personally.
think
feel
everybody
like
should get equal.
everybody like gangs up on Kanye, like, oh, he's a butthole, he's just the rudest person in the world.
I don't know.
I think the
But what
reason-
about the other people? What about the
Whoa,
other
whoa, easy,
artists that legit like really do some outrageous things? We don't go and like jump down their throat.
I think the reason that they
just
jumped down
didn't want
Kanye's throat is because he was like the main, like he put his face as like the cover of being, you know, that type of
jerk.
person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 32 seconds.
So
I mean, hey, I agree. I agree.
yeah, that's why, because he's like
So,
the main thing.
Some of us agree that he's a great artist. Some of us take it to the next step that he's a genius. Some of us don't like the way he behaves, and some of us are, I guess, more forgiving of it. Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's not for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
No,
he's
yeah,
an
but
acquired
that's
taste.
that's any artist, I
He's
think.
like great
He's an
Kool-Aid,
acquired taste.
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, okay, that's like the argument
Kool-Aid,
between
so-
Tupac and Biggie. I'm gonna stop there. Seconds over.
I was just about to say something.
Got him.
Okay, hold on. We can do the 5 minutes on that topic.
I don't think we got another 5 minutes.
No, 5 minutes.
That's gonna take more than 5 minutes.
Got him.
That's the sound.
all-nighter.
That's an all-nighter conversation right there. Biggie or Tupac. We're not going there right now.
All-nighter.
No, in your face.
We're gonna have like 5
How long
podcasts
say
just
we
on that
were?
alone.
All-nighter. No.
You know, as you can see, sometimes these topics are gonna get a little heated because of opinions and difference of opinion, but that's okay because in Ruckus IIV and Friends, the whole point of it is for friends to talk about this stuff, get it out, but at the end of the day, we all get along and everything's fine. Because
Oh no, we go on out front to duke it out afterwards.
We're not supposed to tell them that part. That's the part.
my bad.
Keep quiet.
Come back with a black eye.
Yeah, see us on the next episode with black eyes and like arm strains. But yeah, the idea is that we're going to talk about whatever, but no matter what, we all respect each other's opinions, and we can move on from there and just allow things to be the way they are because that's the way it should be. But
We also want to know your opinion.
Yeah,
How
that's-
do you feel about this topic?
yes, yeah, please, by all means, if you have any opinions about these topics, please comment away below. And if you guys want to check out my vlogs, also, I'm on Ruckus IIV on YouTube. You're more than welcome to check that out. I just want to reintroduce everybody. This is GazzyB, Jessica, Poetic Princess,
Hello.
Candace, and Jeh Sinatra.
Love that.
Love that name.
Great name, right?
Thanks for coming, guys. We really enjoyed having you here, by the way.
Exciting.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Oh wait, you want to do that thing that you do?
See you later.